As I'm making this video on Friday, August 23rd, which is the day after Kamala Harris has been crowned the nominee for the Democratic Party, I still believe with all my heart that she is the worst presidential nominee in American history. I know that's fully out there, but I'm basing it not just on her policies and what she's been doing so far, which is, well, none, as well as her tenure as our supposed VP, but even a little bit before that, during the entire 2020 election and even within the primary itself. Here's the thing. We would not be hearing about Kamala Harris had Joe Biden not been pressured to choose someone who happens to be female as well as a minority. And the fact is that, well, the Democratic establishment did not really like Tulsi Gabbard that much, considering the fact that she is more of more independent thinker in comparison to many of the Democratic nominees at that time. I mean, here's the thing. She was still with the Democratic Party at the time before inevitably she became an independent, is now doing her own thing. But here's the thing during that time. Prior to the voting actually starting, specifically in Iowa, which is usually the first state to vote for both parties within the presidential for the presidential election, Kamala Harris did not get a single delegate. Why? Because in previous debates, Tulsi Gabbard managed to destroy her, specifically on the whole prison issue within California and how she's putting a lot of blacks and minorities in prison for drug possession, among several other things that she's done. It was such a bad show for Kamala Harris that she had to withdraw her campaign before the voting in Iowa even commenced. That's how bad she is. And I just want to stress something. We would not be hearing about Kamala Harris had, again, Joe Biden chose her specifically because she's a female and she is of a minority, which is, I mean, after all, the Democrats have been so into identity politics that they're basically the party of DEI or IDPOL, whatever you guys like to call it. They have been so engrossed in that honestly, I do not see them being able to dig this out without having some kind of soul-searching moment where they would have to reform from the inside out. I don't see that happening. On one hand, it's either the establishment. On the other, it's the far-left socialists, those kinds of people, which I'm pretty sure a lot of average Joe liberals do not really like. But I'm digressing from that specific point. Kamala Harris was specifically chosen, again, because she's a woman, she's a minority, and they were intended in order to draw that many votes. I mean, again, in spite of the fact that she was within the Democratic primary, she was not into in regards to the election at that time. She was not out there, at least until it was confirmed she would be the VP under Joe Biden. And again, this managed to draw in a lot of voters, women, minorities towards her, and people thought that she was the generic Democrat, a candidate that they didn't really know too much about. And to be fair, even after 3.5 years, we still don't know too much about her. She's that bad. During her entire tenure, people know her at most on her inability to deal with the issue of the border. In fact, people often tended to mock her for being supposedly the border czar, and yet she's never stepped foot at the border. The most she's ever done was go to El Paso, stay on the airport, the landing strip, and have that little interview conference over the issue of immigration and the border. She was not there whatsoever, physically, and she does not intend to change. I mean, to be fair, that's basically the same case with the entire administration. With Joe Biden at the helm, basically either fuck-ups or not showing up. But that's the thing here. Whenever she is out there, and the Democrats know this. This is why they have been trying to keep her from doing any interviews, from asking questions with average voters, without having any control whatsoever in regards to the situation. They have intentionally kept Kamala Harris from reaching out to the rest of the public. And I would argue that considering that CNN, as well as these other media news outlets, that while they tend to lean towards the Democratic Party, are beginning to think that this is not that that Kamala Harris, without actually showing any policies whatsoever, it's not going to really help her, and people are kind of irritated by that. It's hell, the fact that Jim Acosta, of all people, of CNN, is actually has been wanting an interview with Kamala Harris, kind of put things into perspective. That this is something that it's not really a strong strategy. And I know that the campaign is built on this whole whole joyous vibes and shit like that. But the thing is that I don't think that's what the Democrat is going to. It's going to allow the Democratic Party to go sprint to victory. Absolutely not. Again, the fact that she has been so out there, and the fact that she's been behind the scenes, and yet when she is out there, she manages to fuck so much up. She is not very charismatic. She tends to laugh a lot, with of course the nervous laugh that she is well known for. I'm sorry, but she's goddamn horrible. She's a horrible candidate. And now, unfortunately, the Democratic Party is stuck with her. I would not be surprised if they didn't actually think about her far-left policies whatsoever, and thinking that, oh, this is going to be completely fine. Joe Biden is also completely fine. He's sharp as a tack. I kid you not, I definitely believe that some of the Democrats actually lied to themselves to believe this fact. They didn't think that Kamala Harris would be a potential issue, especially in regards to the policies that she has put forth when she's been speaking. But now, unfortunately, due to the fact that she is the vice president under Joe Biden, and that she's the only one that could legally acquire Joe Biden's campaign money, and the fact that she's the only other big name out there that would have any sort of potential steam, yeah, they're stuck with her. They are completely stuck with her. And now we get into the issue of her policies. Price gouging on foods. Even when she announced this, she admitted that the prices for obtaining food were high. Were very high. And the fact is that this is someone who is trying to steer clear away from Biden, yet she is the VP under him, and yet she is attacking the fact that there is such high inflation, such high prices going on in this current economy. But what's her solution? Price controls on foods. Now, she calls it price gouging, which is completely another BS, but it's obviously as a means to try to pass the buck onto corporations, which, let's be honest, they have been reacting as a result to the market, as well as with high inflation that the government itself is causing. She's trying to pass the blame onto the farmers, onto the corporations, and not onto the government, because she knows she cannot win this. And to make things worse, this is a policy that many states have actually used. More specifically, socialist states like, say, the Soviet Union and Venezuela, and they don't work. They have never worked. In fact, they tend to lead to famine more than anything else. And of course, there's also the unrealized capital gains tax that she just that she proposed. Oh my God, it's just so frustrating. Literally, you're taxing people for making money on paper when they haven't even sold a stock or a product or anything like that. That is extremely stupid. That would kill investment. Hell, this would specifically target investors, and the economy would grind to a halt. Something that this country does not need whatsoever. In fact, this is such a bad policy that the mainstream media is calling out Kamala Harris on all of this. Well, so far we haven't heard too much about Kamala Harris's other policy positions. She's been kept in the background. She's been very quiet. She's intentionally staying away from interviews. And as I'm making this video, it's been 35 days since she announced her candidacy, and she's not done a single interview. That's telling. Very, very telling. That doesn't sound like a position of strength, if you ask me. And I mean, already this is such a bad look, and makes her be more on the far left. I mean, to be fair, that it's kind of telling with the fact that she chose Tim Walz of all people to be her VP pick, but nonetheless, holy crap, it's just a mess. And let's not forget about the fact that she literally copied two policy positions from Donald Trump. No tax on tips, despite the fact that she was the tiebreaker for one of the bills where it basically allowed taxing on tips. And, of course, the childhood tax credit. The child tax credit. That's what I meant. Already, there are so many problems with her campaign. Inevitably, especially considering the fact that there's going to be a debate on ABC News on September 10th, she's going to have to figure out a way. She's going to have to answer it sooner or later. And she may inevitably have to do it again if there's going to be another debate. Probably NBC News on September 25th. There's no way she's going to go to Fox News. And yeah, that's that's very telling. But inevitably, she has to show her policy positions. She has to show the people that she has a plan. And honestly, considering the fact that she's running her campaign like a madwoman, I honestly don't see them being good policy positions. Hell, I don't see them actually. I don't see it actually being good for America at all, and it's going to show with these upcoming debates. I can tell already that Kamala Harris is going to go down as one of the worst presidential nominees in U.S. history, and probably, if polls are showing, one of the being one of the most poorly turned out nominees in U.S. history, if that makes sense. My name is nominee, and the Dark Truth. Please post your comments down below, like the video, share with friends. Also, if you have any issues regarding my videos, just such as how to speak or anything else, please post it in the comment section down below or directly message me. Thank you.